okay, I gotta get ready because I gotta go to church. But I gotta explain this other part of the dream that I forgot to mention. So, like I said, there was that generational gap in the party that was going on in the dream. Well, actually, before, when we were actually officially leaving, we were back in the building, or I don't know. It's just my last part that I remember of being inside that building, and everybody had already left and stuff. The party was over, and at the table that I was at, the people were giving me wine, and I wasn't drinking any of it. It was like this white wine. They gave me one glass, then they gave me another glass, and then they gave me the whole bottle. But I hadn't drunken any of it, so it was all just still there. And my family had already left, and I kind of like went back to the table, and I saw it there, and I'm like, you can't leave good wine like that just sitting on the table now. So I went back, and I was like, I should at least just have a little bit. So I drank one glass. But as I was walking back, like walking out of the building, and I was leaving it, and then I was walking over to the car, I immediately started getting super woozy, and like like almost as if I was already drunk. And I was like, you know what, that probably wasn't a good idea. And I could immediately feel like that was like not a good idea. It wasn't the right wine. It wasn't the wine that was for me to drink, and I was doing good not drinking it. Like I went the whole entire evening without drinking anything. And then it was like after everything was over and we were leaving that I even left the table. But then I came back. So yeah, that was interesting. And yeah, no matter how enticing things may seem, just know that even last minute mistakes can happen. But then that's when we ended up going in the car, stuffing ourselves in the car, and then I ended up at that house, and then the disaster, obviously something had happened, and then I ended up in the water with my brother in the sewer trying to catch bodies. So yeah, and I think that cup represents, oh my goodness, it's amazing how things come to you, Holy Spirit. In Revelations, it talks about, Babylon, and how you have I think it's the great prostitute, or like, or something like that. And she is drinking a wine, and how it's like poison. It's intoxicating the people, putting them almost like putting the people under a spell. And how even Paul talks about not partaking with demons. And obviously there's layers to this dream. I had described how it was like the father, and how my dad was representing the father setting up this party, and how the yellow light was in there. But then it was also, there's just a lot of layers to this dream, lots of different representation. But in this specific part of the dream, the yellow light wasn't actually there in this part of the dream anyways. It was the same building, everybody was gone, but it was like grayish, it was almost as if it was a different place actually. But yeah, there was that wine, and how it was representing like this spell that this generation is under, because the devil has his schemes, and it's different, like things look a little bit different, but there's nothing new under the sun. But it's just the same tricks. But anyways, this is just a spell of this generation, like partaking of the culture, partaking of these things. And when you partake, your judgment is clouded. You can't see things for what they really are. Like you're just kind of zoned out. It's like kind of like if you've watched The Matrix, like red pill, blue pill kind of thing. You're kind of taking that pill that, like, ignorance is not bliss, but it's like it just puts you under that spell of the enemy. And so even though I had drunken some, I still had the awareness of things, and I was able to snap out of it. But it's just like, it's only going to steal away, it's not going to benefit you. So just be careful that you're not partaking of the things of this world, of the culture, and the things, that the enemy wants you to be consumed with, or to consume. So just have that awareness. Stay sober minded. And the only wine that you want to be drinking is the drinks that the Lord is serving, because he does serve them. He does serve them. And obviously, physical alcohol in of itself is not bad. That's a personal conviction too. But just know that too in of itself has ways of making strongholds too. Or just, even, it doesn't have to necessarily be alcohol. Even just watching a lot of TV, it can help zone you out of just being in the spirit and walking in the spirit. So you just want to make sure your spirit is always stronger than your flesh, because obviously we need to live this life and enjoy the life that we have, but just always be checking to make sure your spirit is stronger and well fed and more fed than anything else, because it's the spirit that gives life.